I'm Andrea Smith with Mommy Tech TV, here live from the Venetian on the show floor of CES 2014. So we've got all kinds of products here, all kinds of people walking around writing about this stuff. But here's a really interesting question. What about you people who are content providers? What about the people who are writing, taking pictures, putting them on their website? I have Crissy Watson here, founder of Outlaw Mom, to answer all of these questions. Crissy, welcome.
Thank you.
So, this is such an interesting topic because everybody now has a blog, everybody now has their own website. People are kind of taking other people's content and putting it on their site because they want those eyeballs. Can you talk a little bit about how this works and how people should protect themselves?
Well, I think something that a lot of people don't realize is that you own a lot of intellectual property in whatever online content that you're creating. So for instance, if you take a photograph and you put it up on your website, you own the rights to that photograph and somebody else cannot use that. If you write a blog post, if you publish an article, if you write marketing copy for one of your products, all of that is entitled to copyright protection.
That's yours. So what do you do if all of a sudden you see that somebody else has reposted your post?
Well, I think the first thing that I would do is before doing a takedown notice, is actually to contact the person if you can and ask them politely to take it down. After that, you can escalate it to a DMC takedown notice or talking to an attorney.
Okay. And what do you do when people want to post maybe a shot that someone else has taken or a press photo? Talk to me a little bit about credits. You should credit people for their work, correct?
You should definitely credit people for their work, but I would caution that attribution does not necessarily make your use of somebody else's photograph fair use.
Interesting. So if you find a photograph, say on Instagram, and you want to use it, even if you embed their photo and give them credit, can't do that?
I think that's a little tricky. I think that has a lot to do with the technology, but I would say give credit when you can give credit. As far as online etiquette goes, I think you'll be in the clear, but I think you can't rely on it to avoid being sued for infringement.
So you really need to, as a courtesy, ask people.
Definitely ask permission, and you might find that they're happy to give you, a free license to use the photograph, or they might ask you to pay a small fee. It just depends.
When you see a news story, it's very interesting. You see a news story, a plane landed on a highway in New York City a few days ago, and somebody tweeted a picture of it, and immediately every news organization tweeted that person and said, "Can I have permission to use your photo?" And it was just this Twitter exchange. It was so interesting where he was saying yes, 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 and I thought to myself, why isn't he saying yes for $200 to each person?
Well, probably because it was the plane crash. I think that if it's newsworthy, you'll want to give it out for free. Or maybe you just want to build your brand or build brand awareness and say, hey, I can take great photos or I'm a great reporter. And there might be reasons for you not asking for money for something.
Talk to me a little bit about building your brand. What's the best way to do that when you're blogging?
Well, I think in terms of your intellectual property, it's good to talk to a trademark attorney right away, or even if you don't, start thinking about, do I have a logo? Do I want to trademark that? Do I have a slogan? Do I not want any of my potential competitors to use it? And think about ways of protecting that, maybe registering that trademark or your slogan or your logo.
Should you also, a lot of people talk about having an LLC so that they're not just their brand, but they're something else. Is that something you recommend, or who would you recommend that for?
The LLC is a relatively new, creature of corporate law. So it's not really clear whether it's going to be entirely beneficial for you versus an S corporation or a C corporation. But if you're small, if it's just you, if it's you and maybe one or two other people, it might be the best route to help yourself avoid personal liability or tax liability.
What kind of liability can people get themselves into? What kind of trouble? What should people be on the lookout for?
Yeah, well, I think, if you're writing content and let's say you're making health claims or something on that and somebody is following your advice, you could possibly be liable for, not making the proper disclosures, or maybe somebody gets hurt following your advice.
Outlaw Mom. Tell me about that.
Well, that sort of started, I have 2 kids, and I'm a lawyer, so Outlaws sort of fit in there. I stayed at home with my kids for a while, but it also had to do with the fact that I wasn't the typical first-time parent. I did a lot of things you're not supposed to do. Living on the edge.
So have we all.
Yeah, so I write about mostly children's educational activities and raising thinking kids. So.
And if people have questions about legal issues about their blog or any kind of website that they're trying to start, do you give information on that on your website?
I actually have a law website. It's at bloggylaw.com, and it deals with all sorts of new media and social media issues. So it's for brands, it's for bloggers, it's for anybody who has a question.
That's great, because I know so many people out there have so many questions. It's a whole new world that people are just trying to almost make it up as we go. Thank you so much for helping us straighten it out. My thanks to Crissy Watson, the owner and founder of Outlaw Mom. We are here, Mommy Tech TV. I'm Andrea Smith. Thanks for joining us.